Hey everybody, and welcome to the Harrison County Library System's online computer classes. My name is Jeff Conwell. I work up here at the Orange Grove Public Library, and welcome. Email 101. For verification purposes, you may need access to a cell phone that accepts text messages or an alternate email address before your account is activated. So get your cell phones ready if you need them. What you will learn in this class, you're going to learn to understand the pros and cons of email use, how to create and access an email account, how to compose and send an email, and how to open and receive the email. What exactly is email? It's short for electronic mail. It consists of messages which are sent and received through the internet. Top email providers for 2021. Provider is simply the service through which you do your email. Number 1 is Proton Mail, 2 is Gmail, 3 is Outlook, 4 is Yahoo, and 5 is Zoho. And we're going to look at the pros and cons of email first. We're going to look at each one of those different types of email. The pros, it's fast, it's personal, you can think through your response. The sender and receiver don't have to be working at the same time. Email makes it easy to keep a record of your communication, and also you can reach a lot of people at once. For instance, if you want to reach everybody at the library, our official library email is the name, and then it's at harrison.lib.ms.us. Well, if you want to reach everybody in the Harrison County Library System, guess what? You just type everyone at harrison.lib.ms.us. The cons are you can get lots of junk mail, just like with regular what they call snail mail. You get what's called friendly spam, and that's stuff like a chain letters that are sent to you by friends that say send to 2 friends, and then they'll send to 2 friends, and then you might magically get some money or something. You got ads, of course, which supports the free email service, so you're never going to get away from that. You got misinterpretation. It's really easy for people to misinterpret things because they're not reading a person's tone of voice. They don't know if they're being sarcastic or if they're being serious or they're just joking. And then you got email messages can be passed on to others, so you got to be careful about what they say. They can forward it to anybody and say, look, this person said that, and then the next thing you know, you get some problems. You can hide behind email. That's really bad. Say if you want to break up with your loved one through email, that would be a very bad thing to do. Don't use email for longer, complicated messages, questions that require a lot of clarification. If a message is going to require several exchanges back and forth to make sure it's understood, more direct communication is best. So if you've got something really complicated to say, don't say it through email, okay? And you don't want to use email for delivering indiscreet, sensitive, or private information. Don't send your social security number, credit card number, or bank account information in email if it can be avoided. You don't want to use it for angry exchanges or for things you should say in person. And then what happens is when people start typing stuff a lot, they want to shorten everything, and texting is actually almost going to, at some point, seems like it's going to take the place of email because it's immediate, but a lot of emails you might find have shortened words for things, and this is a little dictionary of abbreviations that can be really confusing, but your young ones among you should know what all these mean. Like the question mark for what? Lesser sign with a 3 means heart, and with more 3s it means a bigger heart. And then today for today, for you, etc. BRB for be right back. And one of my favorites on this list, you might have heard LOL is laughing out loud. My favorite on this whole list is ruffle, rolling on the floor laughing. So anyway, you can find more of these kind of things, the text speak, if you go to webopedia.com and just check out their listings for text abbreviations. Getting started. To set up an email account, even if you already have one, first you connect to the internet by double-clicking on the Google icon on your desktop, whatever browser that you're using. You go to the Gmail site, in this instance, by just typing in Gmail at the top, and you'll see that it says down below where it says app, it says also sign in right there, so you can create, sign up, all that. And then you're going to, if you open up a new tab when you click on Google, you'll see already how much, they know how much you use email. So they even have a link right there for Gmail. So you can click on a new tab and click on Gmail to open up Gmail. Even if you already have a Gmail account, you can, if you already have a Gmail account, you can simply sign in with a login and a password. So you go, or if you don't have a Gmail account, you click create an account. To complete all the required information in the form, you just fill everything out and then you click next. For a desired username, keep in mind that your username will become your email address, so choose carefully. Because there are so many people who use Gmail, sometimes you might have to try a few before finding one that is available. When you type in your selection, if the username is already taken, it will suggest some alternative usernames that are available, which will be displayed using below the username box, and that's what that looks like. So if you say Joe Smith, of course, Google's been around for a long time, so Joe Smith's already taken, but they'll give you examples of what to use, and then you can use like a first name dot last name or first initial dot last name. And people often choose to use their name if they'll be using the email for professional purposes. Now, if your name is Joe Smith and you have a bunch of numbers after that, they'll understand that there's lots of Joe Smiths out there or Jane Smiths. So don't worry about the numbers so much as something that looks professional. If you put Billy likes Bud or Sue likes to party, they might frown on that. So if you want to use it for professional purposes, be professional. Tips. Don't use your username doesn't have to be your given name. With your email, you can choose something that is also related to your occupation and interest. For example, you might want to put bluebird@gmail.com. If you find that name is already taken, you could always add some numbers to it to make it more unique, like bluebird123. Don't use the same words or numbers that you plan to use in your password, though. And if you need additional help, you can go to a site like this and have a username created for you. It's lastpass.com. More tips, which I also got from LastPass. Email usernames and bank account usernames should be different. So if you got one for the email, for regular email, and then some for your bank account, you want to be different. Also, if you apply for a job, make one just for your applying for your job applications. And then don't ever use your social security number as a username. People are always on the lookout for things like that, to scam and to use your identity for getting money. So don't ever use your social security number as a username. Decide if your username protects your identity or if it can be public. Username that is simple enough to remember but hard to guess. That's always a tough one, but you can do it. Just got to make it, and then once you get one, you want to store it in your password manager on your phone or on your, like Google Chrome can save your passwords for you. Avoid using familiar numbers with your username, such as an address or birth date. Now for passwords, you also, you can make sure that your password is something that you can remember but no one else can figure out. And don't ever share your password with anyone else. For the guidelines provided for the required follow the guidelines provided for the required number of characters. To protect your password, it's a good idea to change it periodically, like every 3 months. And in class, I've often told people, if you're like me, don't worry about that you forget what your passwords are. I tell people that I feel like a squirrel that forgot where he buried all its nuts because I had so many passwords in my head. If you're always changing your password, having to change it because you can't remember your password, guess what? That's the same thing that happens when you work for a big company or even office. They'll make you change your password out every so often. So the more you change it, the less likely somebody's going to hack your email. And tips for creating passwords include punctuation marks and or numbers, mix capital and lowercase letters. Now, if you use a capital letter, I will always suggest for you to use the capital letter first, because inevitably what happens is that you'll forget to do it if you don't do it first. So put your capital letter first. Include similar looking substitutions, such as the number 0 for the letter O, or the $ for the letter S. Create a unique acronym, that's something that like love to laugh for love to laugh, or something that you can, but just something that you can easily remember. And if you need further help, go to passwordgenerator.net to see if you can get one that's created that you can remember. Things to avoid: don't use a password that's listed example of how to pick a good password. Believe it or not, the most overused password is the word itself, password. Don't use a password that contains personal information, such as a name, a birth date, etc. Don't use keyboard patterns like ASDF or sequential numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4. If you look at your keyboard, you'll see what I'm talking about. They're just in a straight line. Don't make your passwords all numbers, uppercase letters, or lowercase letters. Mix it up. Don't use repeating characters like AA11. To keep your password secure, never tell your password to anyone. This includes your significant others, roommates, and parents. Avoid writing your password down unless you have problems like me remembering, then keep it in a safe place. Also, on your phone, most phones have a place for you to write notes, and you can put in your notes folder Gmail password, Outlook password, whatever. Never send your password by email. Periodically change your password out. Don't save your password in an internet browser. Your browser, like Google Chrome, will likely ask you if you wish to save the password, but other people who use your computer will be able to log in as you. So that's something that you got to be very careful about. I know Google is great, but it does make remembering stuff so easy that you don't even have to remember it anymore. So if other people use your computer, that's a definite no-no. Don't let the internet browser save your password. For now, write down your Google username and password. This is crucial because you will not be able to access your email without them. But keep this piece of paper in a safe place. Now, that just said what I did. Now, with Google, and I got to make an aside here, the reason why I use Google as my major demonstration for my email class is because somebody hacked into my Yahoo account 3 times, and I got so fed up with it that I went over to Gmail, and I really haven't looked back. Many of you will find that you prefer your own email provider, and we'll look at those in the next class. But just remember, whatever works for you. But when you sign into Google Chrome, sign up for a Gmail account, this is what it's going to look like. They're going to give you, after you put in your username and password and get it, it's okay. You're given to put your phone number in, which is an optional choice, but they also invite you to put an optional email, because what happens, you forget your password. What are they going to want to do? Send a text to your phone or a message to your email, your other email, about links to go to reset your password. So that can be important. There are email sites that don't require you at all to put an email address, a phone number, but the trend nowadays is for the providers to ask you for 2 types of security, the one being a password, and the second having a text to your phone, even if you're already using your password, just to make sure that it's actually you getting into your email. And anyway, then to keep your account secure, they put in your birth date, and then they ask for your gender. They tell you down there why exactly they want all that. And then your terms of service. After creating your username and password, you'll have to agree to the terms. And after you scroll down, you'll see where it says I agree. And then once you do that, you've got an email account. Okay? Now, managing your email. Once you've set up your email account, you can check your mail anywhere that you can access the internet. This is how it's done. First, you connect to the internet by double-clicking on the Google Chrome icon. You go to the Gmail site by typing gmail.com in the address bar at the top of the screen, or you can just type in your Google username and password into the box on the right. That's the one that we were talking about before. You will be directed to your inbox when you log on. The number of new and unread messages in your inbox is displayed next to the inbox in the left-hand navigation column. Any messages you have not read will appear in bold type. Gmail separates your email using tabs, so emails like newsletters from a retail store will appear in the Promotions tab to keep your primary box clear. If you have a new message in any of those tabs, you'll have an icon next to the tab name. Now, that's a lot to say, and I'm sorry if you got lost in it. We're going to look and see how that looks, okay? Okay, this is what's called your inbox. And if you look right here, you're going to have the different setup for it, where you've got this is the Google, that's your search box. You can search your email by clicking in that box. This is your name where you're going into your profile. You can change your password out by clicking that. Once you sign up with Gmail, you get all these different program types that you can use, including Google Drive and Google Docs and all that other stuff. These are your notifications, the little bell, and you can share out your mail to a person by clicking the share button. That is where you go into your settings as well with your profile. To make a new email, you just simply click on the Compose button. When you click the Compose button, a box is going to appear with the to in subject. And the to, you simply type out who you're sending it to. You can send it to multiple people by writing out one person's email address, then a comma, then you type out the next person's email address and a comma. You can do that to many different people. Then you put in the number 2, underneath it is a subject box, and it's always good manners online, what they call netiquette, like etiquette, but it's netiquette, to put something in the subject box so that the person who receives that email will understand what it's about, that it's not a virus, or it may be a virus, but if it's coming from you and it's got a message that they are expecting, that's less likely for them to be wary about, not wary, but to be alarmed at opening the email address, okay? It also makes it easier to find when you search if you're looking for a certain subject. But you type in your message in the box below that, and when you finish, if you want to add any attachments, you click the little paperclip thing at the bottom. And then you click, when you click the paperclip, it's going to open up the directory, which is your files, and then you'll see the one that you want to send. You click open, or you can double click on the file itself. You wait for the file to upload to the email address. And when it turns blue like that, see how the letter writing there is blue? That means it's attached to the email. And when you're done with that, you simply click the send button. Okay? I'm going to do that one more time because that's important. Okay, to send an email, you click Compose. You click on the box, you start typing. In the to box, you put the address. Below that, you put the subject. Then below that, you type in your message. If you want to send an attachment, click the paperclip. Then you attach the file, waiting for it to load. Then when it's done, you simply click send. Okay? To open and read received email, you double click or click once on the email you want to open. And if you want to, this is just a simple email message. It opens up, looks like that. Email with an attachment. It's got the paperclip. See how the paperclip is? And by the way, this whole thing right here that you see is called the inbox. It's like your mailbox. Okay? And these right here are filters below the compose button. You've got filters explaining, telling you this is your inbox. Stuff that's important is called star. Important. Sent mail or drafts folder. Whenever you compose an email with Google, with Gmail, it automatically saves it, so you don't have to click Save as Draft. It's already saved for you. They got a bunch of different options, which we will go over in part when we do our Google Chrome class. Actually, we already did that, so I may have spoken about it. Hopefully I did. Okay, so when you open up your email, then you will see a preview below the email of your attachment. And when you hover your mouse over the attachment, you're going to get two options with Google. You get one to download it. See, that's the download arrow. And the other one is to save it to Google Drive. Okay? So Google Drive, remember from that class last week, is about where you save it to it's a storage service that Google offers where you can put files and pictures and music and videos and all that. Okay? But if you download it, it's going to be downloaded to whatever device you're using. Okay? And when you open it up, that's what it looks like opened up. Got any questions? I want you to please send me an email right now and give me your thoughts about this presentation, as well as any questions you may have on emailing and any problems you may have encountered. Remember, my name is Jeff Conwell. You can email me at g.conwell@harrison.lib.ms.us or librarydude1999@gmail.com. Thank you for taking the time to watch this class. Our next class is going to be more about email, so stay tuned and good luck.